Hi, I want to try something a little bit new and different today because I want to talk about accountability. Now, some people love the idea of accountability. Some people are just tired of hearing about accountability. Maybe you even hate the idea. I don't know. I'd love to hear. Please give me a comment. Let me know what your impressions are of just the idea of accountability. Here's what I believe. I believe that you are an accountable person. All of us are accountable to some extent or another. It's more like a range than it is a binary yes or no. Even though a lot of us get to where we think that we know whether we ourselves are accountable, yes or not, no, or somebody else. Most likely we think ourselves are accountable and others are not. Funny how that turns out. But anyway, you have achieved what you have achieved, whatever that is, including getting out of bed today. Hopefully, you're out of bed today because you are at least that much accountable. But I want to share with you this cool tool that helps us to have conversations about accountability and to think about accountability in ways that I find really helpful and help us to have a better working life. So this is called the accountability ladder. You will notice that there are a number of rungs on the ladder. Uh, Now, the little descriptions that are here, I'm not going to use those, but I do want to use just kind of the basic rungs of the accountability ladder, 1 through 8, where we have aware, blame, excuses, hope, acknowledging reality, own it, find a solution, make it happen. So at the very bottom, let's just assume that you have a kid who comes home from school and says that she's got a major project due tomorrow and it isn't ready. So suppose you ask this child, why isn't it ready? And they say, well, I didn't realize until today that it would be due tomorrow. That is showing you that they are at this bottom level. They were not aware. So anytime you say, well, I didn't know, that's where you are. You're on the aware rung of the ladder. There's no shame in that. All of us can go to the bottom of the ladder at any point. It's just a matter of how long you stay there and how committed you are to it. But okay, so that's aware. Now, suppose you ask this kid after they say that they didn't know until today that it was going to be due tomorrow. Maybe you'll ask, how come you didn't realize it was due until today? And maybe the kid says, well, the teacher didn't tell me. Well, teacher didn't tell me, that's right here at the blame rung of the ladder. Now, if you ask the kid, well, what happens now? What are you going to do? Well, the kid may say, I'm out of time. There's no time left. I can't do anything about it. That's making an excuse. Or they might even say, well, yeah, sure, I could work on it tonight, but I'm so tired because I was up all night, or I've got a stomach ache, or but my poor puppy is needs to go for a walk and I've got to do that first. And you want me to do blah blah blah, and you said that, and whatever the excuses might be, that's wrong number 3. Then if you were to ask that kid, okay, by the end of the term, what kind of grade are you going to get out of this? And if the kid then says, well, there's 2 exams and half of the class time is still left, so I might get a chance to work this out and bring the grade up. That is sitting here, rung number 4, that's hope, or what we sometimes call the wait and hope rung of the ladder. Now, all of us can go to these bottom rungs of the ladder. That's really actually pretty normal. Uh, if if you find that somebody on your team is struggling and you didn't know that they were struggling, or yeah, maybe there was a tool that you were supposed to be using to keep tabs on what they were doing, but you didn't like the tool and you feel like it's kind of micromanaging and you didn't want to do that, that's an excuse. That's low on the accountability ladder. If you are blaming the CEO or that team member who's always a problem, then you're low on the accountability ladder. If You just throw up your hands and say, well, you did everything that you could, you're pretty low on the accountability ladder.
Here's your sign.
Even if you just say, I'm going to wait, I'm going to see how things work themselves out, then you are pretty low on the accountability ladder. That is all victim-oriented thinking. And that's what I find so helpful about the accountability ladder, is because it helps us to see that these behaviors are all victim thinking. This is where we are basically saying it's always up to somebody else or something else. We are looking outside of ourselves for some sense of control in the universe, rather than recognizing what we can do, how we can do something on our own behalf or on behalf of the project or whatever it might be. Okay, so that's the bottom half of the accountability ladder. Next time I'm going to talk about the top half. It looks good, doesn't it?